Hey guys, welcome to today's training talk. So for this one, I'm going to be talking about the importance of intensity. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible and not go too crazy with detail, just to give you the broad picture of it and the importance of it and how to measure it and whatnot so that you can get the most out of your training and actually get the benefits out of those prescribed workouts. So this is going to be talking about importance of intensity with conditioning training and more in relation with run training. That's what I'm going to be talking about, but you can implement this with any sort of conditioning training. So before we get started, if you're not a part of the Defence Force Fitness Forum yet, just head to the description. I'll chuck a link in there so you guys can join it. What it is, it's a fitness forum that I've created for ADF applicants, police force, all those types of things. Just to give you out a whole heap of free content in there to help you guys prepare yourself a lot better for it, get ready for those fitness assessments, and just become a tactical athlete, which means you pretty much become good at everything. So you've got good conditioning, you've got good strength so you can tackle any sort of task on hand. All right, guys, so make sure you go down to the description and click on the link and join the Defence Force Fitness Forum. All right, so let's get into this training talk. So the importance of intensity when it comes to conditioning training. Now, intensity is how hard your body is actually working during a workout. So this can be measured in a couple of different ways. So you can measure it subjectively, which takes your thoughts and your feelings into account, whereas you can also measure it objectively, where it's an actual measurement of how hard your body is measuring. How hard your body is working. So the objective measurements are much better because it takes you out of the equation and actually shows how hard your body is working. But the subjective stuff can be used if you don't have any sort of things to measure objectively. So the subjectively ways to measure your intensity is rate of perceived exertion. So that's RPE, and it's just a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolute max effort, 1 being you're laying down on the couch having a sleep. So scale of 1 to 10, how hard do you feel like that workout is? So the problem with this is, depending on your training background and what you've done previously, your experiences, some people will rate a workout completely different to another person just because they've done harder workouts previously and they've experienced what hard workouts actually are. So for beginners, you may think a workout's at a level 8 when it's really at a level 4. But that is a way to measure it, and it's just subjective to the way you feel. Another thing that you can measure as well is note down with your workouts is just your breathing, like the talk method. So like conversation, how well can you hold a conversation? Can you talk in sentences? Are your sentences broken up? Can you speak at all? All those type of things are a measurement of intensity as well. Now, the good measurements, the best ones to use are the objective ones. So things like heart rate monitoring. So that'll be a percentage of your max heart rate. That is the one that I really love using. But you can also use pace. So how fast you're actually running. I use both. They've both got really good goals towards both of them. But the really good thing about heart rate monitoring as well is it changes depending on your body's, how well your body's operating for the day as well. So if it's highly stressed, you haven't had much sleep, you're dehydrated, all sorts of things like that, you'll find it'll take less effort to actually get your body up to higher intensities, higher heart rates, just because your body is already fatigued. Now, that's a really good thing because you're able to, your cardiovascular system's still working at that intensity, but you're just holding back because it is struggling that little bit. So you're not going like full balls to the wall type stuff when you really shouldn't be, when the prescribed intensity is a little bit lower. And pace is really good as well, but obviously you need a GPS for that one as well to be measuring how fast you are actually running for them. So they're the two ways that you can measure, subjectively and objectively. And the objectively one is obviously the better one because it is actually how hard your body is working. So with the heart rate monitoring, it's how hard your cardiovascular system is actually working. And then the pace is how fast you are actually running. So that's intensity. So that's intensity, what it is, and how to actually measure it. Now, volume side of things is how long you are. So it's the duration of the workout. So how long you've ran for, how far you've ran for. So that's volume. Now, when it comes to implementing intensity and volume, when it comes to training and programming, is that if intensity goes up, volume needs to go down, and vice versa. If volume is down, intensity is down, then volume needs to go up so that you can get the benefits out of each of them. Now, if the intensity is high and the volume is low, that is because you are putting in so much intensity, you just can't hold it for any longer than most probably that prescribed volume, and it's going to affect your recovery. It comes at a cost, high intensity training. So it shouldn't be the bulk of your training. So you need to take into account what's going to happen the next day and the flow and effect through the week. Now, with the low intensity training, you need to have that high volume so that you're getting the training effect out of it. Because if you are training at a low intensity and you are only training at a low volume as well, your aerobic system won't get the development that it needs to be improving by using that higher volume. So, like I said, high intensity, low volume, low intensity, high volume. So if you are prescribed, like with your workouts, with your program, it should have an intensity prescription and a volume prescription. So whether the intensity is hard effort, easy effort, max effort, or an RPE or an actual heart rate percentage that you should be working at, it should have, or zones or anything like that, a pace. Your workout should have an intensity so that you should be working at a certain level. And like I said, those objective ones of actual heart rate or pace are the best ones to go off so that you actually know you are hitting those intensities, because you may feel like you're hitting those intensities off the RPE scale, but you've never actually hit them before. So you don't know what it feels like. So those objective ones will actually get you there because you can see whether you're hitting that correct intensity or not. Okay. So yeah, it'll have a intensity one and it'll have the volume. So that is 3 sets of 1 kilometer runs, or how much you're running, or conditioning work you are actually doing, and then the intensity. So with that put together and through a program through the weeks, they are manipulated so that you get the most benefits out of each workout and over the entire week and over the phase and whatnot. So if you're not hitting those workouts correctly, you're not going to get the benefits out of those workouts. You're not going to get the benefits, and you may negatively impact the workouts after that and through the week, and then it'll throw your phase out as well. So you need to be making sure you are hitting the correct intensity for that workout. So make sure you're measuring your RPE or measuring your heart rate or whatever it is that's prescribed for you, and you are actually hitting that intensity for the workout. Because if you are hitting a high intensity workout at a low volume, if you're only hitting it at a low intensity, now you're doing low intensity, low volume, which has stuff all effects on your aerobic system. Okay. And the same vice versa. If you're hitting a low intensity for high volume, if you hit that too high, you're changing the energy systems to start with. As well as that, you're going to have a flow on effect through the week. When it's meant to be low intensity, hitting high intensity, which comes at a cost of recovery through the week. Like you've got a lot of fatigue factor. But as well as that, you also want to make sure, if you're hitting high intensity, you're only going to be able to hit it for a certain amount of time, then rest. So it's not going to be a continuous effort, which is most probably prescribed. But also with those low intensity ones, sometimes people aren't high enough. So it's a good indicator to actually, because to get aerobic development, you do actually need your heart rate up to a certain level, which is, at least 130 around about for most people, 130 and above, to actually get some development for it. So it's a good indicator to make sure you're actually working at that correct, at a high enough intensity as well, even with the low intensity stuff. Okay, so making sure your program's got that intensity prescribed and you are actually hitting it, because trust me, it has a flow-on effect to the rest of the week, to the rest of the phase. And all of the workouts, when they're prescribed, when they're written properly, will have different objectives to them, and it stresses the body in different ways and has different effects on your energy systems. So you need to be hitting those correct intensities and correct volume so that you are stressing the body in the correct way to get the benefits that is meant to be getting out of those actual workouts and not impacting whatever's happening throughout the rest of the week. All right, guys, that is it. That is the importance of intensity when it comes to conditioning training. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments section, but hopefully this gives you a broader picture of why intensity and volume is actually prescribed when it comes to your workouts.